Hello seniors, and welcome to this week's Senior Project Advisory video. This week we're talking about our next school-wide learner outcome, which is becoming a self-directed learner. We're also going to take a look at where you should be at this stage in the process, beginning of your senior year. And also we want to let you know about our competition prizes. So most weeks after the video, you will have some sort of task. This could be an online Google form quiz. It could be a sheet of paper where you write some responses and turn it back in to your advisory teacher. There are a variety of tasks you might have. Then, once we take a look at the senior class responses, we will select usually 10 seniors who had good responses or got 100% on the quiz, or did a good job of whatever the task was. Those seniors will win a weekly prize. These include things like perhaps candy or t-shirts or college gear, school supplies, water bottles, things like that. But more importantly, each weekly winner will also be entered in a drawing for much more exciting prizes. These include yearbooks, prom bids, homecoming bids, things that we think will be really fun for you guys. So stay tuned, pay attention, and each week complete the task that's directed at the end of the video. Here we go. So let's take a look at the overview of the project process and where we are in that process now. So we've already gotten our proposal approved, and now we're looking for you as students to become self-directed learners. So what we mean by that is you're managing your own learning, working with your consultant, perhaps seeking out online resources and lessons, attending classes, making your practice pieces, all the things you need to do to complete what you outlined in that approved proposal. So what we mean by self-directed is you take responsibility, seek out help, and complete the objectives listed in your project steps. So most of you right now are at the beginning stages. Maybe you've been working with your consultant, or maybe you haven't even started. So this is the process that we should follow this year. Each week, learn something new, whether it's about the portfolio or about the school-wide learner outcomes, about defense, about the board speech. Watch the video lessons in advisory. Remember, they are also posted on the website if you ever need to review them. Be sure to reread that proposal as we did last week in advisory to make sure you're doing exactly what you said during the course of the project. Try to start that project as soon as you can. You know, waiting till the last minute is a choice you can make, but it is a choice that will make you much more stressed, and you will still have to do everything you said. Doing it at the last minute is usually going to affect the quality of your work. So try to get started and get the ball rolling now. When you look at your proposal, look at your documentation section. You need to collect this documentation along the way. It is very difficult to try to do that in hindsight or at the end of the project. So be sure you look, and if you said you would take 6 pages of notes, take the notes while you're learning. That's much easier than learning and then trying to go back later after you've completed the project and try to take notes. So do things in the logical order stated on your approved proposal. This is critical with your photos and your videos. Be sure to put all photos from your phone and all videos into your Google Drive and the videos on YouTube unlisted right away. You cannot pass defense without the photo and video evidence that's listed in everyone's approved proposal. If something happens to your phone, it gets broken, it gets lost, you will have to recreate or redo aspects of your project, no matter what the project is. So please, if you remember nothing else throughout the course of doing the project, be sure to put all the photo and video evidence into your Google Drive and all the videos on YouTube immediately. So as you're being a self-directed learner, as you're completing each and every step from your proposal, you may find that things come up. In fact, it's pretty much a guarantee that something is just not going to go according to plan. And that's okay. That's normal and expected. So the first thing you want to do if something comes up is try to problem solve as you go. Talk to your consultant, talk to your client, come see me or Mrs. Meredith. Remember that not everything that comes up that's a little bit different than you expected is going to require a revision. Most things just require that you work them out and figure out a way to continue to meet your objectives. This is what we mean by being a self-directed learner, problem solving and dealing with that adversity. That is part of the learning experience that we want you to have throughout the course of your project. And we feel that that learning will serve you well after graduation. Remember, if you do need to make a change, you must start by seeing me or Mrs. Meredith. So remember, our hours are posted on our doors, 140A and room 50 if you need to come and see us. It is very important that you do not make a single change to your proposal in your Google Drive. See us first. We printed everyone's proposal when you are approved, and that is the proposal that the judges will use at senior defense to ask you questions and go over what you've done. So if things come up, see us right away. If you wait until the last minute, which means you wait until the end of January to make any changes, it's just going to put a lot of stress and a lot of intensity at that end when you're trying to sort things out and everybody else has already kind of been on autopilot getting their steps done. So don't wait until the last minute, which again, February 1st is the absolute deadline for you to make any changes to the proposal. And remember to read that documentation section. Be aware of what you said that you would collect as you go. So again, self-directed means you read that proposal, you take note of what's required along the way, you collect it as you go so that when you're done, everything's ready for the portfolio. You don't feel that you have to go back and redo any aspects. So when you see me or Mrs. Meredith to make a change, we will start with having a conversation about why you feel the change is needed. I want to give you some examples of changes that are not usually approved. So for instance, an education project. An education project always requires 4 hours of teaching in a classroom. Coming to us and asking us to change the 4-hour requirement to a 1-hour requirement because you just don't really want to teach 4 hours or you just feel that that's a lot, that's not a change that's going to be approved because it doesn't adhere to the guidelines for an education project. So the most important thing when you have something come up is to look at your proposal and to look at the project guidelines. Every change must still align with the requirements for your category. So a change that would be approved is, let's say that you had planned to work with a teacher, again, using the education project as an example, and let's say she's out ill for a few weeks and you won't be able to do the teaching when you thought you would be in the classroom working with the students. You might need to switch to a different consultant, perhaps a different teacher at the school or maybe even a different school. That is the type of problem that we can definitely revise and completely rewrite the proposal to indicate that new consultant or even maybe that different school. So again, you're still adhering to the guidelines and requirements, but you're not removing aspects or removing requirements from the proposal. So that's an example of a change that we need to speak about and meet with you about, but it's going to be approved because it still meets the spirit of the requirements. If you've been looking at your proposal and thinking that your project will no longer work for you, that's okay. We can start the process all over again. You will need to write a new proposal for your new idea and your new category and go through that same approval process that you went through junior year. So try to come in right away if you feel that that project is not going to work for you. So next week, we are going to have an overview of the components for your senior project portfolio. This is where you will house all of your documentation, and it's what you will show at senior defense. So that's coming up, and we will also learn our next school-wide learner outcome. So far, we've looked at the 2 school-wide learner outcomes of being an informed decision maker in the process of creating your approved proposal and being a self-directed learner throughout the course of doing your project. Now it's time to go to the Senior Advisory video page, which is found on the Senior Project website. Please find the quiz listed under today's video date. And remember, it's not the 10 seniors who finish first. Of all the seniors who complete the quiz with 100% correct responses within the next 20 to 25 minutes, we will select 10 seniors at random to win. So good luck, and we look forward to your next video.